All right, welcome back. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the incredible technical architecture that powers the streaming services we all use, every single day. We're diving deep into a fantastic report from Virtualization Options LLC to guide us. Just so you know, this is part 11 of a much bigger 15-part tutorial they put together. So we're focusing on the key points from this specific chapter. Let's get right into it. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale we're talking about, the report kicks off with this quote that I think just nails it. Modern streaming platforms represent some of the most complex distributed systems ever built, handling petabytes of data, millions of concurrent connections, and demanding sub-second responsiveness. I mean, seriously, this isn't just about pressing play. It's a monumental engineering feat. Okay, so how in the world do you even begin to build something that complex? Well, that brings us to our first section, the Streaming Scale Challenge. We're about to see exactly why a one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't work. Not even close. And this table really gets to the heart of the problem. It's all about trade-offs. So you've got your video on demand, stuff like Netflix. Here, quality and reliability are king. You can cache that content all over the world because it's not changing. But then look at live streaming, like a sports game or Twitch. The whole game changes. Now it's all about low latency and making sure everyone's in sync. You have to be under 5 seconds behind the live action or spoilers will ruin everything. And then you've got interactive streaming, like cloud gaming. This is a whole different beast. We're talking sub-second latency. Your button press has to register almost instantly. You can see right away, these aren't just small tweaks. They demand completely different architectural blueprints. Okay, so with those different needs in mind, let's follow the actual path of a video. We'll trace the content's core journey to see what components are involved and how they have to adapt, from the moment it's uploaded to the second it hits your screen. And it all begins right here, at the origin server. This is the Fort Knox, the single source of truth for every piece of media content. It's like the master library, and it has to be rock solid, incredibly durable, and powerful enough to feed the entire system without ever going down. So how durable is incredibly durable? Try 99.999999999% on for size. Yeah, that's 11 nines of durability. It's the kind of insane reliability you get from modern cloud object storage. Think AWS S3 or Google Cloud Storage. And that's exactly why they become the go-to standard for origin servers. It basically means your master copy is safe, period. Okay, so once a file lands on that origin server, it doesn't just sit there waiting. Oh no, it gets put to work. It goes through this really critical pipeline. First step is ingest. The system receives the file. Then comes the magic of multi-bitrate encoding. This is where that one beautiful, high-quality file gets remixed into a bunch of different versions for all kinds of network speeds, from blazing fast fiber to spotty 4G. After that, the media gets chunked up into little pieces, maybe 2 to 10 seconds long. And finally, a manifest is created. Think of this as the table of contents for the video player. It's the roadmap that tells it exactly what streams and segments are available so it can switch between them on the fly. So now the content is all prepped and ready to go. But how do you actually get it to millions of people simultaneously without the whole system collapsing? Well, that's where the content delivery network, the CDN, comes in. I love how the report describes it. It's the circulatory system of streaming. And that's exactly right. It's this huge global web of servers that keeps copies of those little video chunks really close to you, the viewer. This is what makes streaming fast. It's what protects the origin servers from getting hammered. And frankly, it's the only reason streaming at this scale is even possible, both technically and financially. All right, so we've got our super reliable storage and our worldwide delivery network. But what's the glue holding all of this together and making it work? Let's talk about the cloud-native glue. These are the modern architectural patterns that make this kind of massive scale a reality. So instead of building one giant clunky application where everything is tangled together, modern platforms use what's called a microservices architecture. They basically break the whole system down into a bunch of small independent services. You'll have one for logging in, another for recommendations, another just for handling the encoding. You get the idea. And the huge win here? If the recommendation engine crashes, it doesn't take your video down with it. It's contained. Plus, you can scale or update each little piece all on its own. And how do you manage all these little services? Well, they're often packaged up in containers. The easiest way to think about a container is like a standardized shipping container, but for software. It's a neat, lightweight box that has the application and everything it needs to run, all bundled together. The benefit? Super fast deployment. Imagine a huge live event. You can spin up thousands of these containers just for encoding, on demand, and then poof, shut them all down the second it's over. You only pay for the exact resources you use. Now, for tasks that are even more random, let's say, there's serverless computing. This isn't about having no servers, it's about not managing them. These are little functions that just sit there waiting to be triggered by an event. So, for example, a user uploads a new video, bam, that event triggers a serverless function that generates a thumbnail. The beauty of this is pure cost efficiency. You're not paying for a server to sit around waiting. It's absolutely perfect for those unpredictable, bursty jobs. Okay, we have covered a ton of the technical how, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the why. This brings us to our final section, the principles for platform success. And this next point really brings it all home. It's a quote that gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Technical sophistication means nothing without excellent user experience. It goes on to say that things like smooth playback and fast startup times are what ultimately determine success. At the end of the day, all those microservices, the CDNs, the complex encoding, all of it served one single purpose, making sure that when you hit play, it just works, and it works beautifully. So if we're going to boil this all down, what are the key takeaways? First, streaming is this complex dance between encoding, delivery, and playback. They all have to be in sync. Second, there's no silver bullet, no single best solution. It's all about making smart trade-offs depending on what you're trying to do. VOD, live, interactive. That demands real systems thinking, understanding how everything connects. And last, you're always juggling security, performance, and user experience, all while the technology itself is constantly changing underneath you.
And that leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. As we keep pushing the envelope, we're talking 8K video, immersive VR, super efficient new codecs. Which of these core principles we've discussed is going to matter the most? Is it going to be raw scalability, the resilience of microservices, or that relentless focus on the user experience? What do you think will be the most critical piece of the puzzle for building the future of streaming?